Yawanam hinyana hinyana Yawawo yana hinyana Yawawo yana hinyana Biye jeko lo Santene biye jeko hatete.
All right, for a moment here, we're just going to talk about structure. Okay, structure when striking, critically important. We cannot be, if we are piston punching, we will have occasion where we will be straight ahead. But overall, when we're throwing roundhouses, we're going to have a little bend in our sword, just like if you see those pictures that you see of Jimmy all the time. They kind of got this little bit of a bend going on, right? Not too much, not this direction, but just enough so that if I'm trying to hit on this side of him, it is going to be hard for me to get my arm bent this much. This is too much. But if I get a little bend in my arm, then my structure can change. Now I'm still making a roundhouse. If I'm trying to roundhouse on this side, from here, this is going to be really hard to do from here. I'm going to be slapping him, pretty much trying to slap his liver. But if I bend my sword and I get a little structure in here, not only am I using a little tendon, which is going to bring a little power through the inside of my body, but it allows me to bring a roundhouse. Same thing as far as structure goes, and as most of us Sansu people know, we're going to use this for a lot of things. This one arm position, if I overextend, I can hyperextend, right? But if you maintain this structure, like I said, except for the straight on piston punch, we will stay with this. But generally speaking, if it's going to be a roundhouse, I'm going to change. I'm going to give a little bit of bend in my structure. That's going to give me a little bit of that hooking sensation. So if I'm here, from here, I can't hook around the back of his head without doing the same thing. I need to make this a roundhouse. And by doing my bend a little bit of structure here, I get that accomplished. So like I said, it's all about structure. Structure from here, it's going to be a little bend. It's going to use some tendon. That way I'm throwing it here, I'm throwing it with my shoulder, throwing it with my hip, throwing it with my leg, and I can also add that little bitty step in there to really drive it in home. Also, like I said, I think I was talking pretty much about the structure thing. Don't forget and look in here, right? Wrists are going to have a little bit of a bend in here. It's not going to be this. Piston punches, yeah, we're going to do some of this. Structure-wise, you're going to have a little bit of bend in your swords. And you notice you're going to have a little bit of bend in your wrist. Not this much bend. Someplace in there, probably a little under 45, I would say, somewhere around a 22. But somewhere in there, this will give you structure. Like I said, this will allow for roundhouse to get from this side. Also, when I come to the back, it will allow me to get this fore-knuckle too, because this will also be a roundhouse now because of my structure. And on another point, if I'm coming up from underneath, if I'm trying to throw a roundhouse here, and I'm going to make this big old round, powerful roundhouse like we like to do, I would be better served to bring it down closer to my hip, get my structure with my little bit of bend in my wrist, and throw it up from here, because it's going to come with a lot more force. It's going to be a lot harder to stop. If he sees it coming here, he's going to have a tendency to drop back and try to get out of the way. If it comes from here, I'm going to not only have a roundhouse in structure, but it's going to come from up and under, which is going to be a little bit tougher to see. So like I said, structure is going to give you structure here for the fore-knuckle. Same thing, like I said, when we do the back knuckle, we know which part of the forearm we're going to hit with. The same thing, we're going to have a structure, not flat, but we're going to have a little structure. Thank you. Well done.
Yawanam hinyana hinyana Yawawo yana hinyana Yawawo yana hinyana Biye jeko lo Santene biye jeko